Welcome to it. I'm Joel Villafana and this is Cup of Joe. We are continuing celebrating dads for the entire month of June. Today, special dad in the house. A national treasure. 4-time Olympian. A gold medalist. Richard Torpedo Thompson is here in the flesh and I'm whipping up some seafood. So real excited about this one. Celebrating dads, celebrating men in June. I dedicated the month of June to the fellas. And I have been trying to get this brother for the longest while. Our schedules just didn't match. Every time he drop in, and I say, Rich, I'm flying out today, boy, Joe. So Richard Thompson is here, guys. I knew Richard Thompson in my other life as a sport journalist. I literally covered him from the time he burst onto the scene to almost his closing years. He is a 4-time Olympian. That's no easy feat. 4 times. That's 8. Richard, tell me if I'm going right. 12. 16. 21 because of pandemic drama. So I'm so happy to have him here with us. He's going to drop in and taste something that he's very familiar with. I'm doing a classic seafood chowder. So Richard basically grew up in Louisiana, where he went to LSU and studied and developed his athletic career. He also, as I said, he loves seafood because on that side, fish and shrimp jumping out of the ocean and on his plate. So I'm so glad that this dish is the dish I chose. This dish, you know, I hang out with chefs, and I got this particular dish. I saw him whip it up live on the show. Chef Pierre out of Zazu restaurant. So simple, so easy, but so much big bold flavors from this array of seafood. So let me tell you how easy we're going to pull it together. My onion's kind of working here, and let me tell you what array of seafood I have. Some lovely shrimp, nice big shrimp. I have some clams, some mussels, and some scallops. So this dish is, as I said, when you're trying to make something special for dad, yeah, there's a dish you're pulling together. Real rich, real luxurious, real interesting array of seafood. I have here, adding to my onions, leeks. Now, what is leeks? Leeks is this fella here. So basically, for the layman like myself, the layman cook like myself, leeks is chives on steroids. We shouldn't be using steroids in the same show we have Richard Thompson on. but that's basically what it is. Chives on steroids. It's serious. It has a big, bold onion type flavor. And it makes the whole difference in a dish like this. You can use chives, but if you can go to the supermarket and look for leeks, trust me, the flavor profile really does something a little different to the seafood chowder. So we're going. Once that going, you just kind of want the onions and you start to smell it. Once you start to smell, I always tell you, I kind of cook with my nose, so you start to smell it. Then I want to add some potatoes. So the potatoes are parboiled. You can't do it raw, it will just take a little longer. And Richard kind of come with the belly in the hand, so I want to get it kind of happening quick. This is parboiled, just boil for a little bit, and you get that in there, and you mix. Yeah. I like to season in layers, so at this stage, I could do a little salt, touch of pepper, and your favorite all-purpose seasoning. This is a 1-pot hearty soup. Really, really good. Once that is in there, I can start getting all my seafood in at this stage. So it's supposed to smell like the sea. Mussels is a kind of salty, briny type of flavor. And you want all that going there, all the muscle juice. The muscles juice. Clams in there. Shrimp in there. Woo. Morella is telling me my eyes big in. Watch that seafood she put out there for the steak. Plenty seafood. But it is a seafood chowder. And you really just kind of want to just fold in everything. When I add the seafood, what I like to do is just add another layer of flavor, of seasonings. And to this one now, I want to just kind of add the juice of a lime or two, according to how big your lime is. You're dealing with seafood, that kind of just freshens it up a little bit. So just a little touch of lime juice. This recipe is so simple because everything goes in the pot and comes together. No maths, no science. And you can get the recipe on CupOfJoeCaribbean.com. So this here is something called clam juice. So you saw I put the clams in there. Let me just pull out that. Yeah, this is one of the clams. This is actually clam juice. Woo. In doing this recipe and testing it, this also makes a huge difference. It is about, this bottle is about a cup, and I want to get that in there. And to that, I'm adding some seafood stock. Seafood stock is good seafood flavor. You can get it out of the box. If you don't have the box and you're fancy and you want to use some shrimp shells and some fish bones and that kind of thing, feel free to do that. But straight out of the box, whichever is your favorite seafood stock, you can do. Pulling this together. You want the liquid, if you're seeing, just covering, just about covering the ingredients in the pot. And you started seeing the shrimp turning color. Everything kind of getting all nice and wonderful in there. And now I'm going to bring this to a boil and then add my final layer of flavor. As it comes to this rapid bubble, nice boil, I want to add some heavy cream, final layer of flavor. This is a rich, kind of luxurious touch. It will also help just thicken up the chowder. Yeah. And stir this in because I want this just to remain here for another couple minutes for it to thicken up nicely. And then it's time to serve the torpedo. Just as it thickens up slightly, guys, ready to plate up this chowder. So some people would like their chowder nice and thick. If you like it thick, leave it a little bit longer. But I like a broth. I like a broth, so mixed in with all the goodness here, I kind of just want to plate up all the lovely seafood, that lovely potatoes that will give it that nice, wonderful, hearty flavor. And if this is not heartwarming perfection that you can do for dad, not just on Father's Day, whole month of June, we celebrating dads. And today, as I told you, I have a special one in the house. I got to know not only Richard over the years, but I got to know his family. His family was very much connected to my wife and I. And his mother and their sisters literally have treated me like a son over the years. I've never felt Auntie Jackie, Auntie Judy. I've never felt like I was just part of the family. I was in the family, and met Richard over the years, covered him as a journalist, and happy now to celebrate him as a dad. 4-time Olympian, proud to say gold medalist here in Trinidad and Tobago, Richard Torpedo Thompson. Hi, brother.
Hey, I am almost embarrassed that it has taken this
This
long
long.
to be on the show.
But you're here.
But as Uncle Ronnie always says, nothing happens before it's time. And as Auntie Jessie always says, the right time is always present. So let's go.
You're quoting them. You're quoting them. Have a seat, bro. Have a seat.
Intelligence for the Clarks. We got the Clarks same way.
Become the class
Thompson
same
said.
way. So he's a seafood man. I was so glad
Yes, this looks
when I came up with the whole concept. I forgot your Louisiana connections.
right.
You're accustomed to the seafood broil. And
So this is something that on any Cajun menu you're going to see clam chowder.
clam chowder.
So you've put your own spin on it with the seafood. I love that you have the mussels in here and the potatoes, the clams, the shrimp. The consistency of it looks not as thick.
Yeah, because they are very thick.
Yeah, this one is a little more brothy, which I think I would prefer.
Yeah.
Something that they do as well is they eat this with crackers
Right.
or the French bread. So, interested to try? Go ahead.
Dig in. Man, know it's seafood.
Yeah,
Good.
certified. This is very good.
Always good when he takes a second bite, and when they take a second bite, it's always a good
So with the cream too,
Right.
I could tell that the butter that you use is like a salted butter.
salted butter. Yeah, to the base with the onions and the leeks. Right. Very important. Very important. Richard is lapping up the soup. When we come back, we share a cup with him.
Got into the country on Father's Day.
Right.
And in the true sense of a father, I had to make the necessary moves to get things for my sons to be here with me. So both my wife and I realized that our two sons needed their passports renewed. So we went to New Orleans. It's funny that we actually having a New Orleans style, Louisiana style meal.
Yeah.
Because while we were there on Thursday, we went to a seafood restaurant called Fiery Crab. And it's been a while since I've had a seafood boil, which is, they have corn, potatoes, sausages, mussels, clams, shrimp,
And they
crab.
just threw it
And you
out.
have everything in one big plate.
Right.
Put it in a bag, and you get to choose the type of seasoning that you want.
Right.
So there's a Cajun seasoning, there's a lemon butter seasoning, there's garlic seasoning, and then there's like a combination of the three.
Wow.
So people generally tend to believe that seafood is always healthy, but it depends on the style that you do it, because there's the fried seafood as well, fried seafood platter that's common in all of the seafood restaurants in Louisiana as well. So there's that boil that I just mentioned. There's a seafood platter that would have like fried catfish, fried shrimp, fried hush puppies, fried, so all of that fried stuff is not necessarily a healthy version of it. But this is definitely a very, very healthy meal, and something that during my running days I would have eaten a lot.
So now that you have more or less hunger spikes, you consider yourself a foodie, you consider yourself wanting to try different things, because I know during your athletic days, you're about to say, all right, none of that today.
Definitely. So cookies would fall in there.
You're a cookies man.
Yeah, so I'll be on the couch watching TV and eating those Biscoff cookies. But I've discovered something in my retired days, that the Biscoff cookies that they give you on the plane.
Yeah.
Right. So there's that, but there's a cream-filled one with the vanilla cream-filled, and that is something that I love. So all of the little, junk food and so on that I didn't get to eat while I was running, because I had to stay disciplined, I get to try.
You're piling it up. You're piling it up now. Yeah. You're piling it up now.
Meat and all of that too.
Let's talk fatherhood, because you brought fatherhood. I was going to talk sport first, but let's talk fatherhood. As I said, Richard, I remember back on TV6 days, I think you won the very first, what we called it back then, boy. It was the sportsman. We did our own sportsman, People's Choice Sportsman of the Year, and you won that first year that we brought that out. And as I said, started to follow you and interviewed you over the years. Saw you from basically a young man And when I checked this over the years, Richard now is a father of
Yeah.
2 boys. Tell me that transition, because I've been being involved as a professional athlete and then having to adjust your mind, one, to being a husband to Monique, and then all of a sudden being a father to 2 boys, Ryan and Reese.
Right. So as a professional athlete, I would say any top athlete at any level, there's an element of selfishness
Yeah.
that comes with being great. And you speak to any athlete who has done very well, they will tell you that things center around their training and their competition, from the way that you eat to the way that you're able to go out and interact with friends and so on. So for me, even in my school days at LSU, some of my roommates used to go out and party on a Friday night. I had practice at 7 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday, running hills and then lifting weights. So you don't always get to do the things that you want to, or the people around you want you to do. And my wife Monique has understood that, because she was an athlete.
She was an athlete as well.
At LSU. That's actually how we became very good friends. That led into us being married. But the next step to that, obviously, was us having kids. And when we had our first son, Reese, that sort of sped up my maturity in a sense, because it was no longer just about me and my track and field and doing everything that centered around me and achieving those goals. But now I also had to consider I am responsible for another human being as well, and it's not that I was selfish in the sense that Monique and I didn't get to do things that we enjoyed as well, but there was a priority that took place with, this is number one, this is number two. Track and field is number one and everything else is number two. When Reese was born, he's number one. And the way that we both adjusted our lifestyle to suit that was something that made me realize that you have a greater appreciation for your parents too, because of the sacrifices that they made to ensure that you had things. I remember growing up in the days where my dad worked 2 jobs. During the day, he would work in his pharmacy, and at night time, he would go to Phillips Pharmacy in St. James to work. My mom was a verbatim reporter in the industrial court, and she would do side jobs as well as a pallet typist to ensure that we had the things that, not necessarily that we wanted, but that we had the things that we needed, and we take those things for granted sometimes. We always had clothes on our backs, we always had food on our table, we always had a roof over our heads, the basic necessities. Now, we didn't, we weren't the family that took family vacations everywhere and so on. We weren't necessarily in a position to afford to do that at the time. And when I look back now, in hindsight, you have a greater appreciation for mothers, for fathers, and the sacrifices that they make to ensure that you have the things you need. And people can tell you, but it's when you actually live it, that's when you truly understand those sacrifices that you make. And my kids just bring me great joy, apart from actually trying to do things for them. But the time that I actually share with them, seeing them grow up, seeing them take their first steps to be able to play football and basketball and so on.
They had to be in track.
Not yet.
Come on.
I eventually.
So Monique and you didn't get a track genes through?
I'll say that they're fast, right? But they're using that speed for football and soccer, different sports. And I think at this age, it's important to diversify what they do.
You've lived in the States, as I said, more or less the entire adult life, from a young man into your adult life. But I know you come back home, I think more outside of the pandemic, I suppose, you would have come back home every year for Carnival. You're a Carnival baby.
I am a Carnival baby, and I think that, that was one of my weaknesses as an athlete.
Right. Oh, I know we're going to wipe out the weakness, but right. It was, that would have been pressure.
It is in the middle of.
Oh my God.
But not necessarily the middle of the track season.
Yeah.
But it was at the start of the outdoor season starts in April, where you start getting your warm-up meets and so on. Track carnival is always in February, maybe sometimes early March. And when I hear the music, Marshall is my favorite artist of all time. I love Bunji Garlin too, from ever since I was small and we in primary school. And people would say around those times it was very cool to say that dancehall is your favorite. If you're like Beanie, and if you're a rap man, you're like Wu-Tang or Rough Riders. If you're a conscious man, you're like Capleton or Sizzler. For me, soca was always my thing. Marshall was my favorite artist since I was a little boy. And to see what soca has become now and the big business that carnival in itself has become to garnering more of a global presence is something that warms my heart. I'm a Trinity to my heart.
Two quick stories. During my journalistic days as a sports reporter and so on, and I would be interviewing yourself and back in my interviewing still John and Russell Latapy and thing, and them fellas can't come back over carnival, and I used to party for you. Because I remember asking food. I would have party for you, all I see them fellas can't come back.
And then like you had a block from social media. You seeing all these stories and the videos and they tagging you. No, take a block.
The other big story is that I remember, I think I either read it, Richard, and I said, wow, that's literally me. I either read it or heard it in an interview. You said when you hear a song or you fall in love with a song, you would play it over and over. And that's me,
Serious?
Yeah. So I would play one song over and over. If a song hook me, especially a soca, that song on repeat. That song on repeat. Fatherhood, end of the career, you were at a satisfied place when you decided, hey, for Olympics, I've had enough. I've done my bit, and you were happy.
Yes.
No regrets.
No regrets at all. And I think it was important as well for my kids to see me in that element because they were old enough to understand in my last year of competition. And what it meant is they saw my routine, they saw my discipline because I was also in school doing a master's in sport management. And I would go to training in the morning, come back home in the afternoon, take a shower, eat something. They're home by that time, and they would see me go to the table, do some work, take some time off, come and play some video games with them, or go out in the yard and throw the ball with them, and then go back to the table and do work again. So it was important for them to see how disciplined somebody has to be in order to achieve the goals that they want. Because sometimes the message doesn't always have to be verbally said. Sometimes it could just be implicit actions that they see around them.
Actions speak louder than words.
And it's one thing to tell them, go and do your work. Go and do. But when they see you actually do it, it's not saying. Some kids would look at their parents and say, or question, but they didn't used to do this in their time, or they didn't. When they actually see me doing it, I think, that is something that's important. So when I tell Reese, go to the table and do your work, he knows that I actually led by example. He saw that it was important for me to do that, to do as well as I did in school and in training. So,
excellent. Rich, we continuing to celebrate you. I want to just say it was a pleasure covering you, following your career. It was one of the joys of my career in terms of following you, being able to know you personally, get to know you personally, see your challenges, see you overcome the challenges. I didn't get to see a beat Usain Bolt like you. I wanted to see a beat Usain Bolt.
I took a gold medal away from him recently.
We talk about that when we come back. He take a gold medal away from Bolt. We toasting to Richard Thompson when we come back. Cheers to dads and cheers to Richard Torpedo Thompson is spending some time with us. He is back home for a bit and he came over Father's Day, spent Father's Day at home with his dad and his father-in-law. And sons are here?
They are.
Sons are here, both Reese and Ryan here, entire family. And we're so happy that he spent some time with us today on Cup of Joe. Richard had, and not only Richard, but the entire 4x1 relay team, that's Emmanuel, Mark, Kester, right there, had the distinct, and I'm saying distinct, privilege and honor to receive a gold medal post the 2008 Olympics. And that was due to one of the Jamaican athletes testing positive that was revealed long after those Olympic Games. When I heard that news, Richard, I covered, as I said, that Olympic Games very closely, and having to receive the gold medal after the fact, it felt bittersweet for me. I just kind of wondered how you boys felt in terms of having to receive a gold medal so long after the fact.
Right. Well, firstly, let me describe what happens when you win a medal. So, at any major championship, whether it's the Olympics or World Championships, Commonwealth Games, whatever, you win a medal, they test gold, silver, bronze team. And there's a A sample that you have the results of right away. And there's a B sample of your urine sample that they send to a lab in Canada. They freeze it there for a number of years. And as technology improves, they go back and they look at samples from before. And what they couldn't detect before, with the new technology, now they're able to. And that's essentially what happened with us. They went back, they looked at the Jamaican samples, all of our samples that medal from Beijing. And they realized that one of the Jamaicans had tested positive, and we were then elevated to blue. Now, how you described it there is sort of how I always describe it. It's bittersweet because as an athlete, your goal is to become, your goal is to become an Olympian, right? If you make it to the finals, you've done well. If you win a medal, great. If you win the gold, that's the pinnacle of it there. And to have that moment taken away from us is something that you look back and you wish I could have been on the podium, at the top of the podium, in the moment, hearing our national anthem, seeing the flag raised, and having that euphoria here in Trinidad and Tobago for the gold medal. However, in 2017, we got notification that we were going to be elevated, right? And there was some miscommunication that didn't allow us to get the medal in 2018, which we could have, and it ended up being pushed back to 2020. 2020, the entire world shut down. So it was delayed once again. We get to 2021 and things are getting back to normal, and the IOC invites us to Switzerland at the Olympic Museum and the Olympic headquarters, and they took really great care of us. They made us feel like they were rolling out the red carpet, like the gold medalists that we are. And it warmed each of our hearts to know that they put that time and effort into preparing such a special occasion because they know what we've lost in terms of the endorsements, the contracts, possibly government rewards and things like that. And they really treated us like royalty. Flew us and two of our family members there first class. Had us in a really nice hotel, everything, all expense paid for. And there was a really nice tour of the Olympic Museum, and they asked us to donate some of our gear towards that, which we have a space in the entire museum with all of the members from that 4x1 and our items there. And the president of the Olympic Committee, Thomas Bach, made time out of his extremely busy schedule to ensure that he was there to make a speech for us and congratulate us and award us with the medal. So we really felt very special from that end to know that someone as important as the Olympic Committee put the time, the effort, the money, everything into making us feel special. And we sort of expected that Trinidad would have greeted and accepted us in a similar fashion between the government and the Olympic Committee and different bodies. We're approaching a year since we've received those medals, and we're sort of yet to feel that warmth. Whether that is intentional or unintentional, I'm not sure. But I believe that the necessary bodies will value the gold medal as they should, and something would be done.
You think we, as a country, we overlooked the moment?
Well, I think with Trinidadian culture, we sort of caught up in hype and celebrating a moment. That moment in itself, and as I said, the euphoria around
was
actually in the moment.
Yeah.
The truth is, people celebrated the silver medal almost like it was a gold, right? But a gold medal is a gold medal, and I feel like we should not be punished or overlooked for something that wasn't our fault. It was, the circumstances were beyond our control with what happened with the Jamaican team and then us being upgraded. I think regardless of how you look at it, it's etched in history that we are Olympic gold medalists, and there should be a certain level of respect and admiration that comes along with that, because as I mentioned, just getting to the Olympics is an extremely difficult task. And whether it is that you cross the line first as the Olympic gold medalist, or it ends up in a sort of unorthodox situation like ours, where we were upgraded retroactively, that's still an accomplishment that's very, very difficult to achieve. So I hope that at some point in the near future we're able to have a conversation with these people. We've had conversations in the past, and nothing has necessarily materialized from it. Like, we were not recognized. There was no formal recognition. No acknowledgement in the form of a function to say, well, boys, we are extremely proud of everything you've accomplished. I came back home on my own, an Emmanuel calendar, and we flew back into the country ourselves, and I said, Cali, those people don't really, they're treating us like they don't care. Let's make the effort. Let's go into the schools, let's go into the clubs, let's go into the communities, and show these young kids this gold medal, because I know what it meant for me when I saw Atto come into Newtown Boys. That was Atto and I went to Newtown Boys RC school, and after Atlanta, he came into Newtown. I was the fastest boy in the school, and a simple thing like him saying, hey, I passed my crown to you as the fastest boy because I was the fastest when I was here too. I know how much that inspired me. So I wasn't necessarily waiting on anybody else from an official capacity, governmental or capacity or anything, to say, let us utilize these boys and send a positive message because of their resilience, because of their patience, because of their integrity, and a number of positive factors that you have to consider that allowed us to be gold medalists today. I think there's a message that can be sent from that, and it's not all lost. There's still a possibility to have those conversations and spread that message.
I'm hoping that falls on the right ears. It's important. I think it falls on the right ears, and they will say it's never too late. Let's hope it's never too late. Today, we're going to celebrate that gold medal, because I am smack bang in the middle of two Richards. Richard Thompson is on my right, and on my left is Master Mixologist Richard Atkins. Your namesake.
King Richard, royalty.
King Richard. I like that. That's a name from Normal. King Richard.
It is amazing to be here, as usual.
We're going to celebrate that gold medal today.
Of course.
We're powered by Hennessy, and we're going to celebrate that gold medal that these boys have said worked so hard for how many years ago?
I'm actually going to try to recreate liquid gold. In a sense,
Whoa.
right?
Whoa.
I heard Richard say that he did not really feel that love, that appreciation from us. And it's a heartbreaking thing to hear.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Richard is a national icon, a treasure. He is someone that worked really hard, went out there, and put us on the map. From my entire industry, we appreciate him. You know, because I mean, it was difficult at that time. We had to duck. There were a lot of TVs, and nobody wanted to see us. They all wanted to see you.
You were blocking people behind the bar.
It's kind of hard to
Hold on. How to do it?
But at the end of the day, I wanted to see it as well. Today, I am definitely going to try to recreate something.
Liquid gold, I love that.
Right, so the drink is titled Torpedo Gold. It came to me last night. It just came to me, and I had to do it. You know, I have a little bit of gold in here,
Yes.
liquid gold, and I'm going to go with I mean, it's more on the tart side. I'll do 1 ounce per drink. I'm going to allow you to have some Torpedo Gold as well, Joe.
I appreciate it.
I think it's fair.
It's only fitting.
You know,
Yeah.
you put together a great show today. You have 2 amazing Richards. It doesn't really get better than this. You know, so let's get into it. So this is my golden syrup here. Right? I mean, literally see the gold.
Like, you will tell us what it is.
Yes, I call it a black and white syrup. It's a simple syrup. I call it black and white because I use white and brown sugar. Now, I don't think it's internationally known as black and white.
Yeah. You just need the black and white.
Of course I can. I'm Richard Atkins, the Mixologist. I can't do these things. See how he wins golds? That is it. And he won gold without having to enhance himself.
Out of France, in French. Out of France.
This is probably the most expressive and distinctive spirit where cognacs are concerned. And I'm going to use, as I usually like to, a copious amount of stock. So we have a golden Richard, so it is only fair that he's presented with gold. See how you have it. Properly chilled beverage. Look at it. Does not look like gold.
Close enough. Close enough. Close enough.
Close enough, they say. A little more for you, Joe. We'll make sure and share with you as well. And then some more for Richard. Not really. But I mean, you should show off. Come on.
It is.
We are in the presence of royalty. Gold is what we're celebrating here. Citrus, small pieces. And I am now going to finish this off with just a touch of some spice. So the spice in this case would be tonka bean. I'm a big fan of it. You kind of want to get it all over the crease. Then you dust, and then it is complete. And this is my creation. This is how I show my appreciation. I have always wanted to mix drinks for you Olympians. Unfortunately, the rest of you guys are not here.
Yeah.
But it's an amazing,
We need to make that happen.
It's
Definitely.
amazing to have you.
It's a pleasure to be here.
You can reciprocate from me. Trinidad and Tobago, we love you. We appreciate you and everything that you did. So cheers.
Cheers to that.
Richard,
Thank you, my brother.
I could not have said it any better. From one Richard to the next, Joel, in between, we just want to say cheers, not only to Richard as a dad, but Richard as an Olympian that has represented us at 4 Olympic Games for over the last, that's over almost 2 decades,
long time.
Richard. It's 2 decades.
Close to it.
2 decades.
Yes.
and the sacrifices that Richard would have made over the years, and some of all the other athletes, all of the other Olympians, sometimes that we tend to overlook here in Sweet Tea and Tea. Cheers.
Cheers to that.
Torpedo Gold.
Get the aromatics up in there.
Yeah, we smell first. We smell.
Then you sip on that.
Oh. Smooth.
It should be. That is it.
I love it. Great job, buddy.
Powered by Hennessy, guys. Toast and cheers to Richard Thompson. Richard, one more question before you leave, bro.
Sure.
What's next, boy? Spikes hung up. And
yes.
the career has come to an end officially.
Yeah.
What's next?
Sport management, just helping out the young athletes make the connection to whatever is next for them. As a young athlete in Trinidad and Tobago, coming out of QRC to transition to LSU, there was a lot that was unknown from my and my family's end. And the process of transitioning was very difficult for me because there was no structured thing in place to allow me to transition. Thankfully, because of the family that I have, Uncle Ronnie and Uncle Gladdy and Uncle Jerry, Auntie Jessie, my parents, my big brother, you know, we all did the thorough research, and we were, you know, very diligent in terms of ensuring that I made the right moves, because there were small universities trying to contact me, but I would have been a big fish in a small pond. I wanted to go into the big pond and learn from the others, the other big ones, so that I could become a global presence as well. It is my goal to be able to help many, many athletes, and the reality is not everybody is going to become an Olympian or a professional athlete, but you get to go to a university, you study for 4 years, you get a bachelor's degree, you come back home and you're a more productive member of society. And we all win in situations like that. So
you're coming back home to do this?
It's something that I am capable of doing
Right.
from the US as
from
well.
the US
Because
as well.
if the pandemic taught us nothing else, is that we are able to work from anywhere virtually, unless obviously you have a hands-on job like a doctor or a dentist or something like that. But the reality is a lot of things can be done from, you know, being mobile and traveling around the world. So setting up virtual conversations with athletes and their parents to help them with what's next, choosing the right school for them, choosing the right coach and program for them that fits their academic needs and athletic needs, is something that I am very passionate about. And you know, maybe I do it on my own, and if it's something that the Secondary School Association is willing to pair with me to do, and the Ministry of Sport is willing to pair with me to do, then I'd be glad to run that initiative with them. But regardless, I've been helping many athletes over the years. I do it very quietly, but I've been helping many athletes from here and in the US as well over the years, and I'll continue to do it regardless.
National treasure, I said at the top of the show, and I meant that with everything in me. And we all here at Cup of Joe want to continue to wish Richard Thompson all the very best in whatever endeavor. And it is so important when these guys who would have achieved so much on an international stage take time just to remember when they needed help, what it meant for help to be forthcoming, and for them to decide, hey, it's time for me to give back.
Awesome.
Happy Father's Day, belated.
Not too late.
Not too late.
I still
Never
accept
too
it.
late. Never too late. We celebrated dads and celebrated men in June, and
I
it
agree.
was a nice way to just end off with Richard Thompson. So glad he was here to be able to do it with us, and wishing you all the very best, my brother.
Thank you.
Continued success.
All the best
Yeah.
for you too.
Cheers.
Thanks, Joe. Thanks, Richard.
Where you guys, Seafood Chowder, get the recipe on cupofjoecaribbean.com, and continue to share a cup with us here every weekend on Cup of Joe.
Yeah, this is just the right mixing. Sometimes people mix something and it's too strong, or too much of the juice. Just perfect blend. Awesome job, brother.
I tried.
You get a goal.
Golden mix. Golden mix.